Okay, should I start, Mbak Yovita?
Yes, Pak Jaka, you can start with the narration that I already gave to you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, greetings to our viewers joining us on the YouTube live stream. My name is Fajar. I am the reviewer or assessor at the UI GreenMetric and also the associate professor at the Universitas Indonesia. And I'm your moderator for today's discussion. Welcome to the second episode of our Voice for Sustainability, the new episode of online YouTube podcast presented by UI GreenMetric. This episode titled Instituting UI GreenMetric, The Way Forward, exclusively airing live in UI GreenMetric YouTube to celebrate the 14th anniversary of UI GreenMetrics. Congrats UI GreenMetrics. This discussion will feature an in-depth discussion on the best practices of UI GreenMetric University members. And maybe I would like to introduce about UI GreenMetrics. So the UI GreenMetrics stands as a global benchmark for assessing campus environmental sustainability and dedication to eco-friendly practices. And it was originating from Universitas Indonesia in 2010. This ranking system has become the instrumentation guiding universities worldwide toward environmental stewardship. And over this 14-year journey, UI GreenMetric has evolved into a symbol of sustainability excellence in higher education, attracting over 1,000 universities globally to participate. This significant milestone not only showcases the widespread recognition and influence of UI GreenMetric, but also reflects the united commitment of universities worldwide to advance sustainable initiatives. And we have network now boasts over 1,183 universities spanning over 84 countries. And notably, we broadened our scope last year to include cities and regions through the UI Green City Metric rankings. And we also committed to fostering sustainable campuses globally. UI GreenMetric actively collaborates with universities, hosting national workshops on campus sustainability endeavors. Additionally, we provide only sustainability courses for students and organize international student leaders meetings to cultivate the next generation of sustainable leaders. And for those of you joining us today, if your university or city has yet to engage with UI GreenMetric or Green City Metric, detailed information is available on our website at greenmetric.ui.ac.id. And we encourage all of you to join us in shaping a greener and more sustainable future. And we have a great speaker today. We have the honor of welcoming distinguished speakers from Universidade de São Paulo, Brazil, one of the universities that has participated in the UI Green Metric ranking since 2010 and has consistently ranking in the top 10 for the past 3 years. Hello, Prof. Teddy, how are you?
I'm quite fine. Thank you for the invitation and the opportunity. Um, First of all, I'm quite happy to see a very nice global movement that UI GreenMetric has launched a few years ago, now more than 1 decade. So it's quite mature, the process. All people engage it. I see that many universities know about it, and I think it's a very global action that's positively causing good impacts everywhere. So I'm quite happy when I see that this kind of movement. So congratulations for all the team in the name of Professor Hidi and Professor Junaid, also of all this movement.
Okay, thank you. Should I continue to introduce you, Prof. Teddy? So, Prof. Teddy is a professor at Department of Hydraulics and Sanitation, and he holds a bachelor degree in civil engineering from the Polytechnic School of the University of Sao Paulo, 1991, environmental engineering from the Faculty of Health Sciences at USP in 1993, and also hold master degree in resources engineering from Universitas Karlsruhe in 1996, and also PhD in public health from the University of Sao Paulo, 2002, and also a postdoctoral degree in public health from the Faculty of Public Health USP 2006. He participated in the creation of and coordinates the network of the professional master's program in National Network for Teaching Environmental Sciences. And he serves as an advisor to the Environmental Management Superintendents at USP. He is the coordinator of the thematic access education within the program 11 thematic access of USP, and also the coordinator of the Technical Chamber of Integration and Dissemination of Research and Technology CTID of the PCG committees. And he has experience in the field environmental engineering with emphasis on environmental health and sustainability. And also, we University Indonesia also very saddened with the condition in Brazil now. Prof. Tadio, with the southern of the Brazil has great flooding, which I heard that never happened in the 100 years and so on. And I also would like to ask the listener and Prof. Tadio to maybe make a silent pray for maybe 10 seconds to remembrance the victim and the loss that had been occurred. Okay, thank you for all. And welcome, Prof. Tadio. We are delighted to have you to join us today. So it's okay, Mbak Yovita, we can discuss now. Or maybe Prof. Tadio would like to uh, introduce more.
No, I think it's just that sustainability is a challenge not only for the institutions but also for the people, especially us, you also, that we are engaged in the universities and how we tackle with this. You see, my background is engineering, so when we study engineering, we are much trained to be squared. And so many challenges I have faced along my career, most of them are related to incorporating more about the social aspects. And these have brought me to think and to work toward sustainability. The most recent action I have been engaged is this coordination of a Master of Science that's related to basic education. So I'm working and supervising teachers from basic education. So it has been a huge challenge for me that I'm quite used, let's say, to engineers, and then you now start to supervise professors that are working with children and so on and aspects. So I think to work with sustainability, people must be flexible and open for learning. And once people are prepared for this, I think they can move on very well on sustainability and make the difference. That's my learning in all this process.
Okay, I agree, Prof. Tadio. So I mean, the sustainability also cultivating about the spirit of sustainability to our next generation. And maybe going back to our topic today. So there's some question that I would like eager to ask to you. The first, uh, actually, I want to ask about the what specific strategies can universities implement to effectively institutionalize the UI GreenMetric framework within their sustainability initiatives. I mean, you have a lot of experience at the USB, and maybe you could share your experiences at an USB best practices.
Okay, thank you again. Uh, the institutionalization, let's say, of environmental and sustainability, mainly sustainability approach at the university is always a challenge because, again, it's hard. People are quite afraid of entering in these discussions. So it's easier that you stay where you are. So I think the first step, and very important for these within this strategy, is to establish a policy and the compromise of the leaders of the university that they want to move on and guide the university towards sustainability. I think this is very important. All universities that are moving and having succeeding in implementing sustainability, they have a guiding policy. It does not necessarily means that you have to depend on the university. The process of approving this and establishing and designing this policy is different, but at least you have something that institutionalizes all this process. The second step, I think it's important for this implementation, is that you have a department or a specific sector of the university that will deal and coordinate all this process, plus a, a team, capacitated team that understand all these interfaces sustainability has brought. I think these three steps policy and a specific department plus people prepared for this is the basic triple of the process. But what else I have seen that have helped universities to move on very well and disseminate it in all the university is to integrate the process of building a sustainable university within the undergrad and postgrad process, developing courses or integrating the courses of all these different levels, plus preparing also leaderships. And this can be inside the university that you instigate students to move on and be there as prepared for be leaders in this context. I think it's what's working also. It's that you can develop research integrated with other within the university. So you bring different topics of the university together. So one professor or one student learn from engineer, learn to work with social science, that learn to work with medicine. So so you start with the policy, but you end up implementing it in all levels of the university. So I think this strategy can be faster or can be shorter depending on the size or even the difficulties the universe can face in that place. It's related to financial aspects. It's also related even where it's located. For example, University of São Paulo, one campus is located inside the city of São Paulo. In this region, we have more than 20 million people. But we also have universities in Brazil that are within the Amazon region, very difficult to arrive. You have to come there by boat inside the forest. So the challenges are very different. And I can imagine also if you look the world as a whole, also there is different context that we have to consider in this strategy when implementing sustainability. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Tadeu. So basically, there are some steps. At the first, we should establish the policy, right? So, uh, but maybe it's outside of the question. What's the tip of, I mean, to, I mean, talk with the leader of the university to convince them that the sustainability is our way to going forward?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think uh, more and more the students and society are challenging the universities that they engage in these aspects. I see this not only in Brazil but also in other countries, that students that are coming and society are getting more worried as you talked about this problem we are having in the south of Brazil. So people are getting more worried about environmental and also social injustice. And they understand that as they are and it's always like this. There is a lot of money um, going to the universities to finance all these higher education system, and the society want respond and practical actions from their side. They also want a reference that can guide them through their professional lives and so on. So I think more and more the presidents of the universities and also the rectors are being pushed and challenged that they have to show results. And sustainability at the end is not only a discourse, but it has to be something practical that the university applies within their campuses. I mean, they implement this in the management of the campus, but they also cross the walls of the university and work together with community. So they are being pushed. This is one aspect, these leaders. And more, I saw, for example, we work with the University of Michigan in United States, in Ann Arbor City. And I've seen the president had established some targets for the university, and in certain moment, the students got and said, no, we are not happy with these targets. We want more strict and higher targets that for environment. So for example, in the cut of CO2 emissions, there was one target, and then the students want higher, let's say, cuts in the, or lowering the level of emissions of the university, and many others related also to inequalities and so on. So I think this is moving universities to establish at least rules and norms and hope policies toward sustainability.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Tadio. I mean, do you agree that the social media also has the effect to push them to going to the better direction? Do you
Uh,
agree that social media, I
I
mean,
think.
it's kind of pushing the leader of our university, right?
Mhm. Uh, there is a there is I would say different context when we look universities that are, let's say, based on especially public funding, and universities that are more, let's say, they depend on more the taxes or the fees, especially the fees that the students entering the university pay. So they use social media to mobilize and get all these students to come to their universities. And I think those universities that can perform well on sustainability can attract more students. And once they know that this is right, this correlation of a good action on sustainability, this can mobilize more students to enroll in the university for both sides, but mainly for these universities that depend on this, highly depend on the fees that are paid, they will see that's very, social media can also play a very good impact on these preparing and establishing law, environmental or sustainability policies at university. But also, more and more, the society can access what's happening through social media. So, I would say a few years ago, it was very hard. Things that you develop under or you do in your university or in your institution, they were limited to this small group. But with social media, now everything that happens anywhere, everybody can have access to that. So social media can play an important role in mobilizing people, but also in pushing the leaders for this sustainability policy. I agree with you. I think it's very important. But Fajar, we have to watch out because there are many people still putting too many fake, let's say,
Yeah.
information in the social media. So this is also a challenge for the universities and for society, how they filter and they can believe or not in all this information. Still a lot of fake news, and we have
Yeah,
to watch out for
right.
this.
I agree. I agree. Okay. So it is interesting topic. So maybe we can talk more later. So the second question, how can the UI Metric framework that we know can evolve to address emerging sustainability challenges facing higher education institutions in the future? I mean, you can tell us about USP experience.
Okay. Well, first of all, in general, I like the way green UI GreenMetric system is working. We have all these international meetings, annual meetings. So I think, and also the annual national meetings. So this is it's not only about a number of universities that are applying or sending the information for this ranking, but also there is a propitious forum where people can meet and dialogue. So I think this is very important because all these dialogues, they push, and all these people engaged in this process discuss opportunities of and opportunities of dealing or addressing, as you say, these emerging sustainability challenges for the university. So you get to know, for example, in this meeting, people from for the national meetings, for example, people from São Paulo meet people from the north of Brazil or the south of Brazil. So these challenges make clear when you dialogue with your colleagues, but also in the international context. So I liked it, and I think it works quite well. So one aspect is really that we bring more people for these international and national meetings. This would be one very important aspect uh, for the UI GreenMetric learning and implementing these challenges within their framework. The second one, I think it's important, the UI GreenMetric framework and platform has already a space where we can feel with the practice and the local actions we are doing. So it's very nice. So there is a huge database about all these universe, not only hard data, I mean, how much you perform in water, but also more and more the UI GreenMetric platform is collecting information about practice. So this information is already there. So I suggest our colleagues uh, from UI GreenMetric, especially Professor Hiri and Junaid, that we could move on with a applied research, including some universities, to use this data and reflect how where we are doing, what are we learning in this process, and this can come back come back in terms of suggestions to improve the UI GreenMetric framework for the sustainability. I mean, this framework of the ranking, how can you improve it? Then we research in a scientific way, learn with all this database we have, and then this can come back again to the framework and see where we can evolve or learn or create new aspects in this process. That would be my suggestion. Uh, uh, Maybe afterwards we also could create in the framework also local chapters. I mean, I don't know, I'm just thinking on your question, but for example, maybe if I'm dealing with, let's say, universities in lower income contexts, maybe I would have different contexts for this group. So higher income countries would have other questions. So we could have a kind of a main framework for everybody, but we also could have some adding aspects that they would be very specific for some regions or for some contexts. And that would be interesting. I see that some other certifications process as the Global Reporting Initiative. They have, for example, for some sectors, they have different indicators and some different questions that they do for different sectors. For example, for everybody has to fill and prepare the report. That's common for everybody. But for example, for mining sector, they have a specific, they add some questions and some indicators. So that also could be one evolving opportunity for the UI GreenMetric framework to consider this difference and capture this difference among the world and the difference in all these universities. So these two aspects, one is to work on the database we already have to develop a, let's say, joint research within some universities, reflecting on it, what we can learn and feedback the UI framework. And the other is probably thinking about different parts, addings to different contexts. That would, I think, work, and that could address these emerging sustainability challenges that can be faced around in different contexts.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Tadio. So I got two keywords. The first about database, how the database can be used to in the joint research to more applied research, what we to be a feedback to our framework. And then the second about the local context, that maybe a different question for different region or uh, different maybe developed or developing country. So the keywords, one of the keywords is about the collaboration, right? I mean, about the discussion, the dialogue, and then and that leads us to the third question. How do you know, I mean, what your opinion about the how can universities collaborate internationally to strengthen the impact of UI green metric and promote sustainable practices beyond campus boundaries?
Um, that's really a challenge. Um, the first one I would say is within the network itself. I think we should foster collaboration among our universities. Um, there are many international and national calls that are trying these calls. For example, if we take the Belmont Forum, for example, for research, they have rules where these international funding agencies they participate, and there is calls that are made uh, for different regions. So these pushes different universities from different countries to participate and integrate. Maybe we could also think with all these network we have how we can mobilize and engage some funding opportunities in this international level that we could call projects that could be applied only if you have 2 or 3 or 4 at least a certain number of universities from different countries. That could foster this integration outside, let's say, the context of one university. The second one, uh, we are already doing some courses, short courses, uh, and this experience was also, let's say, started in the discussions within the UI GreenMetric group. So we already have some international course where different universities participate. So I think it's also an opportunity because not only the teaching staff, but also the students can see the realities and the challenge within the other universities. So this is also a opportunity that one university can, or one student can collaborate with the other student from the other university, from different courses and so on. So these international courses we are already doing, and we should improve them to have more courses. I think it's a very good opportunity to improve all these impacts outside and this integration and so on. And also the third point I would suggest, Fajar, would be that our universities could, let's say, have a survey with the surrounding communities or with the stakeholders that our university deal with, and ask them what they want, what they expect from our university, what kind of course they want, what kind of actions they want, how they want to see our universities. That would be nice if we could prepare a common survey and we apply in all these more than 1,000 universities participating in the UI GreenMetric ranking. And we ask the community what they would like to see the universities doing in this aspect of sustainability and the application of sustainability in the context where we are. So these answers could also help the university to improve strategically in the short, medium, and long term, but align it to what people want to see and not something only that the university want to see, but also what the community want to see. So this we could go and reach very important actions beyond our boundaries, our campus boundaries.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Tadeo. I mean, yeah, there are some points about the fostering network and mobilization circles. Also, the one thing that we always forget about the stakeholders. I mean, I agree with you that we need more discussion about our stakeholders and what the sustainability view based on them. So that maybe we can talk about some barriers and some challenges in the next question. So how can the universities can overcome barriers and challenges such as maybe financial constraint, as you said before, and institutional rigidness and also inertia in mainstreaming sustainability efforts through initiatives like the UI Pyramid?
Um, I think again is a challenge for UI GreenMetric group. I would include a kind of a new app connected to the platform that we also could calculate or at least estimate the gains, financial gains, when we implement all this process. For example, if you are implementing circular economy within the university, for example, with organic waste or with plastic waste or electronic waste in the university, I'm quite sure we are saving money. So there is probably a kind of investment in the beginning, but the payback is very short for many of the topics that are within the UI GreenMetric. One is waste. I mean, today, and it's going to be quite expensive for the universities to deal with their waste. And the way, if they keep, let's say, separating their waste and send this to landfill, they will run in risk in future. More and more, the municipal or the state laws are prohibiting dumping waste in landfills, but the idea is going for zero waste. So universities have to address this right now, otherwise they will run in problems because more and more it's getting more expensive, all this process. So if they implement this within their boundaries, reducing, reusing, reducing, and so on, there is a kind of a payback of this, a return or reducing the expenses in all these managing these systems. It's not only about waste, but energy. Many universities are investing in solar panels, and in 5 or 10 years, they pay the system. And so it starts to gain, let's say, to save a lot of money. So, but the UI GreenMetric platform is not calculating yet this. So I think we should push the let's say these software systems that they could calculate how much we're saving in terms of money, but also, for example, the platform already calculate how we save in terms of CO2 emissions. This also can be transformed in money. I mean, each ton we save in reducing, reducing the amount of CO2 or greenhouse gas we are emitting, this means that there is a equivalent um, price for this. So we could calculate in certain ways and have the amount of gains, especially financial gains, we are having. So this could break the barriers of people changing. I mean, if you show the president of the university, okay, if you do this, that, and so on, you can save that much. So I'm quite sure this would move these people also to toward sustainability actions.
Okay. Okay, I agree that the investments, I mean, that would be a greater gain in the future. But I mean that it brings new technology, of course. It brings a new way of living, and it brings the new habit, right? And and that should be supported by, of course, the students and the faculty and the staff. And and that leads the next question: in what ways can universities engage students, faculty, and staff in the implementation, as you said before, of UI Green Metric to maybe foster a culture of sustainability and collective responsibility? I mean, this is not only our job, but it's all, I mean, stakeholder and also student and everyone jobs here. Maybe you can discuss, I mean, you can share it more.
Correct. Uh, I think this concept of culture of sustainability is very interesting, and we are since a few years working with this in some partnerships we have, especially this one with the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, in the United States. Uh, we are working on the concept that this culture of sustainability is, they are based on, there is a social or a social environmental problem, the problem. Uh, so this is one aspect very important. So when you teach students and also when you prepare the staff of the university, probably most of them know about, for example, climate change. So it's important that they know about the problem. But the second one is important that they change their behavior. So it's not about only this strategy that you are questioning. So it's not only about knowing the problem, but if they are changing, for example, how the university uh, community knows about climate change, but how they are changing their behavior. Do they live closer to the university so they save, for example, they can go walking to the university instead of taking the car or other transportation system that they emit CO2, or even with other aspects of energy or water. So how they are changing this behavior. And the third aspect of culture of sustainability is also how these people are pushing the other stakeholders or the colleagues for they also change their behavior. So how people are engaging in this global movement. So these three pillars, we are measuring this. We started this a few years ago in this partnership, and we are improving our surveys and comparing these among our universities. So what I would say, I would invite all GreenMetric network that we could apply the same survey in all these 1,000 universities so that we could compare and learn more if what we are teaching at the university is making them learn more, but also making them change their behavior. If our strategies about environmental and sustainability education is really preparing people to change behavior, because for example, I can give the example I've seen here in many universities. Sometimes these students are, let's say, more prepared to change behavior than, for example, the professors. The teaching staff, okay, they teach about sustainability and the importance and so on, but they still go with their cars to the university alone in their cars. Even though they live sometimes very close to the university, but it's quite more comfortable for them to go driving a car alone. But so they don't want to do some sacrifice, I would say, to go biking or walking or even pushing the, let's say, the mayor of the city to build new bike lanes or better infrastructure for them to go walking. So it's easier for them, but they teach about sustainability. So it's very complex and I would say paradox that I talk about something, but I don't do that. So that would my learning about this, and I invite all our network UI GreenMetric that we could let's say apply this experience we already have, even adapt this survey, that we could compare this among our global context. That would help, and I think that could help us with this data think about new strategies to engage and change behavior within our community. People doesn't
Yeah,
know. I mean, even the enterprise, Fajar, they are
yeah,
doing these ESG programs, but they are not measuring how people are really changing behavior. So sometimes
I
they
agree.
measure the performance of the enterprise, but they do not measure the changing people. So this survey is very nice because it can give us a guideline if people are changing or not, so that we can adjust our strategy, our education strategies to really impact and make people change.
Okay, so uh, interesting, yeah. So there should be many lessons that can be learned, right, from that survey. So maybe that leads to the next question. So what lessons can be learned from your university that uh from our point of view that successfully integrated UI Green Metric, right, into your strategies, and how can your strategies can be applied to maybe our university or other institutions.
Mhm. Uh, I think I will highlight two aspects from this learning of the University of São Paulo. The first one, my feeling is that Green Metric is known by the majority of the university community. I would say if you talk to teaching staff, if you talk to students, if you talk to technical staff, all of them at least have heard about Green Metric and they know the importance and how universities engaged in all this process. So this is very nice. I mean, it's not about only having the participating the ranking, but they know this is important for the university to measure how it's going, how the university is performing in each dimension, and they feel part of this. So this was one, I think, very important gain. And this is result from all the communication process the university has done when we are moving on with GreenMetric, whenever we have these seminars, whenever we have meetings, whenever we have groups, and whenever we go well in the ranking, we disseminate it, we communicate it. So this lead to everybody, I would say, most of the community now know about the GreenMetric. So I think this was very important lesson. And the second one is because of this, also, I've seen that different sectors of the university has been implementing sustainability in their actions. For example, if you look the undergrad uh, um, planning system of the universe, they are implementing more and more sustainability in their actions. If you look a few years, let's say 10 or 20 years ago, sustainability or environmental was just something about the, let's say, the environmental department. But now other departments or other parts of the universe are implementing sustainability. For example, community services of the University of São Paulo, for many of their actions, they have sustainability as one of the main pillars. So when they engage the community, they bring things and aspects of. So how the university is implementing this, I think we have good lessons that we can take this for other universities and also learn from other universities what they are doing so to implement. But this has been very important for the University of São Paulo to disseminate the the culture of sustainability, this importance, and this is also very important because it makes the University of São Paulo as a stronger and more mature and to work integrated toward sustainability. That would say what I would comment on your last questions. And the sustainable development goals were very important, let's say, to put all this together. So sustainable development goals has been part of this strategy in communicating and also in implementing all these activities. And I think, and my feeling is that the GreenMetric is also very connected to the sustainable development goals. So all these work together and make a very good synergy toward sustainability.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Tadio. It would, I have a lot of uh, new insight this night, and maybe can I conclude our discussion today? So, okay, so some as based on our discussion that it's clear that our sustainability prioritization in universities involves implementing strategies, for example, establishing policy and fostering leadership and also support and dedicating space for the specific localities or departments. And initiatives like UI GreenMetrics also facilitate the global dialogue and best practice of sharing, of course. And we also highlight the importance of the collaboration and networking for international impact. And also about the financial barriers requires a shift of mindset. And you said that about the habit or the cultural shift and the also the mindset towards the investing in the sustainability. And finally about our partnership and I think that's the most important and driving key uh, key to driving behavior change and also achieving the sustainable outcomes. And also would like to be thankful to your time because today is your weekday. Again, thank you for your time. Tércio. I mean, maybe we can talk more in private or in via email because s- some topics I would like to ask more about.
I thank again all this opportunity to know you. First of all, that was nice, Fajar, to meet you. To be with UI GreenMetric team, and the opportunity also to share our experience here of the University of São Paulo, and that I know that's quite engaged. And it's always also a moment of reflecting. And also, when we talk about what we do, we are still learning. Well, we reflect about that, and that's a learning process that we can improve the next step. So, thanks for the opportunity. In the name of the University of São Paulo, and also in the name of the Patricia. Professor Patricia is our superintendent of the environmental management at the University of São Paulo. So I thank you all in her name.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Tadiu. And for our listener, I trust that our discussion today has provided you with the new insight and inspirations. And don't forget to participate in the UI Green Metric and the UI Green City Metric ranking as part of our collective journey towards our sustainable future. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And it has been pleasure having you with us, Prof. Tadiu. And I would like to apologize for any mistakes that may have occurred during our podcast. I look forward to more opportunities for such discussion in the future, and of course, covering various sustainability issues. Thank you again, Prof. Tadio, and all the listeners, and we hope to see you in the another episode. Good night.